Hello, everyone. Welcome to our knowledge transfer series. My name's John Erickson again, and we have our Braden, our intern.
Yep.
How's it going, Braden?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. We're having fun. Today, once again, this is one of these knowledge transfer sessions where we're training someone how to be, hopefully long-term, a financial advisor in the financial services industry, and we're starting small, right?
Yep.
What are we working on today? What product?
Well, I'm going to be quoting you for some life insurance.
All right, cool.
Yep.
And so we're doing term life insurance. It's basic. I'm actually not a big fan of like cash value life insurance, but term life insurance is a really good starter financial product for someone who has not a lot of experience yet in the industry, right?
Right.
To learn some basic features, products, and things of that nature. And just kind of start learning more about how to do financial analysis so that when you kind of grow in your career to maybe learning how to do investment proposals, things like that, you have some basics of, okay, this is how the financial industry works a little bit, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So before we get going, as always, this is our standard disclosure statement. Everything we talk about today has to be treated general in nature. It's not a direct sales pitch or anything of that nature. This is maybe a fun video, a training video. Get you some experience talking to a camera. You never know who's going to watch this, right?
It's true.
Yeah, that makes it a little scarier, which is actually very good for someone who's learning how to do these things for the first time because, if you screw up, everyone gets to watch it.
I guess so.
All right. Well, let's kick it over to you. What are we doing today?
Okay, so, this is the Carroll site, and this is where I use this day-to-day to quote people for 14-plus companies. We can do up to any kind of amount for the life insurance, and I can't really show you the results of this because it's not client-facing. It's from the company's side. So today we're going to be using Plum Life. You guys can use this on our website. You can come and you can click on life insurance and you'll be able to access this. But I'm going to be running a quote for John today.
All right.
So John, what's your birthday?
All right. And before I give you my birthday, I'm going to pause real quick. Let's talk about compliance in the financial services industry. It's a big deal. And so when he said it's not client-facing, I actually have a problem a little bit with this in the insurance industry that we can't literally just show you how we run quotes or all these products. Yeah. I mean, I'm a friggin' millennial, and I used to go to the internet when it first came out and see whatever I wanted, right? So that actually does bother me. But we're under compliance, so we got to do the client-facing one, and then we can't do the big brokerage one, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a close date of birth. But I'm gonna give you my exact date of birth. I'm gonna say January 1st, 1981.
Okay.
Cool.
And do you do not use tobacco?
No, I don't. Why do you know I use tobacco or not?
Well, we have to decide if you get a smoker rate or not.
Does that affect pricing?
Yes, very much so. Smoker rates can be like double the amount, and depending on the company, I mean, it depends on what kind of tobacco you're using as well.
Well, what if I use cigars? Does that matter?
Yeah, that can matter. Some companies allow you to have celebratory cigars, but others are a lot more stricter on it. So that helps in underwriting to know ahead of time.
Well, what about vaping? I mean, I don't do cigarettes. Cigarettes are evil. But what about my vape machine, right?
Yeah, that's also smoking as well.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta figure out a way to get my nicotine in without affecting my life insurance rates.
Yeah.
All right. No, I don't use any nicotine.
Yeah, I'll put that as a no. And then...
Well, what about that marijuana I use? Does that affect this? Is that a smoker?
It is. I mean, if you're doing just edibles, some companies are a little bit more lenient on that than others. But if you're smoking, that's still a smoker rate.
It's funny, as we're doing this in reverse. So I don't do as much life insurance anymore. I typically do retirement planning now.
Yeah.
But one of the things that always drove me crazy about asking people the smoking question, especially being in Washington State where marijuana became legal, was that people say, no, I don't smoke anything, and then you find out later they do marijuana, and it's like, oh, if you just give me this information, I have this way better company I could have used.
That's what I've been learning too, yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the things you should recognize is if you're ever working with an agent who has access to a whole bunch of companies, the more stuff you give them, they'll protect you from the insurance companies. Because once the insurance companies get the application, they communicate with each other behind the scenes about what they found out. And you don't necessarily know that, but they actually do. And so if one insurance company finds out you did XYZ, then they all know. And if you can just tell someone ahead of time, like Braden here, I do these things ahead of time, you can protect you from all sorts of weird scenarios.
Yeah, totally.
All right, what we got next?
How would you consider your health? Very good, excellent, good, average?
I consider myself to be in perfect health.
All right, that's what I like to hear.
But I'm going to give you a practical thing. I have a medical alert on my hand, right here. How do you figure that? I work out every day. I take care of myself, generally pretty good. I kind of eat healthy. I'd say I'm in good health. All my blood screenings say I'm in good health. But I got a medical alert.
Well, it kind of depends what it is, but usually you probably get more of a standard rate class.
So I'm going to pause you on this one and make you think of something here. I always ask someone, like when I'm trying to figure out someone's health.
Yeah.
I know the tools there are very simplistic because it's just asking someone. I always ask, what their height and weight is. Do you take medications for anything?
Right.
Has the doctor diagnosed you with anything ever? Even if it's totally fine now, do they ever tell you anything behind the scenes? Because when you add that, do you take medications for anything?
Yeah.
It protects you, the client, me, from not knowing how much it sucks to buy life insurance sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? So just as a suggestion as you go through it.
Oh yeah, totally.
All right.
Would you say you take any medications?
Yeah, I take something called prednisone.
What is that for?
I have something called Addison's disease.
I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah. So normally what I would do is I'd have my tabs open and I'd be Googling what the heck is Addison's disease, right? And so what you do is you go, okay, so in situations like this, you'd pause and you go, okay, that's really good to know. I need to set up a follow-up call with you because I need to research this. I need to figure out what to do here.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the mistakes that you, the public, I find, make as well. You apply for life insurance when you have health conditions and someone hasn't done the research behind the scenes and actually gone to insurance companies.
Right.
If you went to insurance companies and asked them, what would you do if you have Addison's disease? And have you done that yet? Have you sent out brokerage requests?
Not yet.
So we could send out emails to like 8 or 9 underwriters and ask them opinions on certain medical conditions.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm considered table 4.
Oh, okay, yeah. So would you put that at average health? Then?
Yeah, I put average health in this tool. But using this tool as an example, it's a very simplistic tool. I'm actually much more expensive to insure, even though I do all those other things, and I think I look fairly healthy. I'm actually statistically very expensive to insure.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let me think. Do you have any debt right now?
Well, why do you want to know that?
I'm just curious because I'm trying to figure out how much insurance you should apply for.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I got a mortgage. It's about $400,000.
Okay, that's not too bad. And then you got any kids?
Yeah, I got one little boy. He's driving me crazy. Gosh.
So would you need any income replacement?
Yeah, I probably would. If I die, then someone's got to keep the lights on for a period of time. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then why do you want life insurance?
That's a good question. Well, my family dies. If I have a mortgage, things like that. In my case, I earn a little bit more than my wife, so we probably have a loss of standard of living if I die, and then, naturally, I want to protect my kid.
Mm-hmm. And then how long would you want the policy for, you think?
What do you mean, how long?
Well, you're getting term life, right?
Yeah. What's that? But what do you mean how long it lasts for?
Hmm?
Well, I don't understand. You said I'm getting term life. What does that mean? How long I want it to last for?
Well, policies you have to pay for a certain amount of time period to be insured. And since you want a term life, it's not going to last your whole life.
Oh, it's not going to last my whole life. Okay, well, what are my options? Like, how long can I make it last for, typically?
Up to 30 years.
Up to 30?
10 to 30.
Does that affect anything? Like, if I clearly want just 30, is that the easiest, or?
Well, sometimes when you get longer terms, it becomes more expensive, so something to consider.
Oh, it affects price.
Yes.
Oh. Well, how long do you think I should have it for? I'm 43. What do you suggest?
You probably would want it for 30 years.
30, 73? You think I need insurance when I'm 73?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right here, this conversation, I'm going to pause real quick. Yeah, that's a tough conversation to have with someone. The flow's a little off. Like, why do you want life insurance? Normally it's more conversational about, okay, what's your goals? Like, what are we trying to do here today? We were just trying to, role play before doing this. But, ideally you want to figure out, kind of who are you? What do you care about? Because it gives you an idea of what I might be willing to do. And then the idea how long it lasts for, there's a pretty big price difference between a 10-year term and 30-year term, right? It's like triple price at certain ranges.
Oh, yeah.
What does it mean, 10-year term?
That means you're insured for 10 years, and if you were to die in that 10-year span, then you would be fully covered for the death benefit that you pay for.
What happens after 10 years?
Well, then the policy will just end, and you either can get a new one or you can try to get a conversion or something.
Okay. And then can I cancel at any time?
Well, you could stop paying the premium, and that would cancel it out.
Okay, so I can stop paying premium and just cancels any time?
Yeah.
So I'd probably do a 20-year policy then, in my case.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And then would you want like $1 million, would you think would be a good number for you?
Well, what do you think? I mean, I have $400,000 in debt, I have one kid. Let's say I make $100,000 a year. What do you think's a good number for me?
Well, if you need full income replacement, that'd be for 20 years, and you need $100,000, that'd be $2 million, and then you have all the debts and stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot. $2 million. Let's just do $1 million. That's probably fine.
Okay.
And it's interesting you asked me that question. I find people usually have a number in the back of their mind. They're like, I want X amount of insurance, right? Like $300,000, right? It's very doing needs analysis, which is what the financial planner in me wants to do. It's very hard to get people to do that in the insurance industry, or even the clients to do it. It's a better process, but it's very difficult to get them to do it.
Yeah. So I ran your quote, and it came out to $393.24 per month.
$393 a month?
Yep. It's a lot. But
that is a lot. So I'm paying $400 a month for insurance?
Correct.
$400 a year. Oh, I don't know if I can afford that. Well, let me think on that one.
Okay.
Now, let me think on one that's usually kiss of death, by the way. Because the price came out so big. So now go to the brokerage site and quote it. We won't show it, but let's do the exact same quote, and I'll talk to the camera. I want you to run the exact same quote on me, but on the brokerage site to kind of show this difference while we go through it. Yeah. So as we went through there, we did basic quick needs analysis. We're trying to figure out how much someone would want, how long we would want it for. And if you think about this in context of someone's financial plan, right, that there's a certain amount of time in your life you're going to usually need to protect yourself, and then there's usually a certain amount of your life where you don't need to as much. In theory, you've paid off your debts, right? If you avoided what I call the 4 Ds, death, disability, divorce, or disasters, you usually get your debts paid off by a certain point. You usually built up some assets, and so death becomes more normal, and it's not as critical that you insure yourself against it. And so we typically look at term life insurance as the cheapest option, typically, to give the most amount of insurance to protect you right when you need it. Now, whole life insurance, or permanent life insurance is probably the better term to use it, is designed to give you a life insurance across your entire life, right? And so the big difference, everyone has to think about for themselves is, do you want term, which typically is a much cheaper product, it's more pure insurance, or do you want something that's going to last your entire life? And that can be difficult for most people to think about. All right, you got me on the other tool? What are you showing me now?
It came out a lot cheaper. It's $218 a month for that. Am I allowed to say which company or no?
Yeah, don't say which company,
okay,
but you see there the difference, right? You had one which is only one company. That was literally double the price by comparison shopping, right? It matters. That'd be a good experience for you, because if you meet with a client, you should tell them the story. Hey, when I run these quotes, I sometimes get prices that are literally double from one company to the next.
Oh,
so
totally,
you want
just 1 month too.
Right.
That's just for 1 month payment.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's a good basic process. Okay, so let's just say, okay, well, dang, that's half the price. I'd want to definitely buy that one.
Okay.
You've hit my number. So now, what's my process?
Well, now I would send out and complete an application with you. I'd have to set up a phone call, or you could do it all online, either way. And then you'd have to complete a medical history interview with the company. They'd call you, and you'd have to answer some questions, and then they'd also do a background check and look at your past medical exams, and they would decide if you needed to get another exam or paramedical exam, essentially.
Okay.
And then once that all goes, they're going to continue the underwriting and then give you an offer and see if you get approved, and then you can accept it and get approved or not.
Okay, well, what does it mean get an offer? Can they change that price?
So if the underwriters kind of find stuff that makes them think, oh, your initial quote is not exactly right, we found some stuff we're gonna up the price, and they're gonna send you that number that they think is kind of where you should be priced. So if they find something like, oh, you actually have been smoking, you put no, they're gonna up your price, and they're gonna send that back to you, and then you're gonna have to decide if that's still worth buying or not.
Okay, that's fair. And if they could they lower my price? Could they actually make it cheaper for me?
Yeah,
technically?
totally. Yeah, if you're in perfect health and you applied for standard, they might give you cheaper.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, how long does it usually take for all this?
Probably kind of depends if what they're doing. Sometimes if they need it, all the different forms and special authorizations, it can take a lot longer. Because some doctor offices take a lot longer to get records and all that. But it can be really quick and like up to 3 weeks or less. I mean, kind of just depends on the person.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll apply. Do I have to see you in person, or can we do it over the phone?
Oh, we can do it all over the phone. You can see me in person either way.
Cool. All right. Well, then let's rock and roll in this.
Sounds good.
All right, and that's our basic training video for you today, right?
Yeah.
So, we just did this kind of live in front of the camera. Was it awkward to do it the first time?
Yeah, I was nervous.
Yeah. Like I remember having to do these live with clients, right? And it's just brutal because the first time you ask these questions, you're like, what? You're trying to think in your mind, what was the answer there? What do I say? Oh my God, am I even right about this? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What was the hardest part about doing this today?
Probably just trying to figure out what to ask you and kind of what questions I needed to know.
Yeah.
Necessarily, like I could obviously go through all the lists, but like doing it in a normal conversation manner is kind of
it's a lot
more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe our business partner Rob's doing the training on life insurance. So any mistakes today, we're gonna blame on him. Does that sound good?
No.
Okay. All right.
Rob's amazing. Yeah. No.
All right. Oh, cool. Well, don't say that to his face.
I won't.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty good today. You want to sign us off?
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll do it. Thanks, everyone. You have a good one, and we'll do another training video with Braden in about a week here. You ready to do the next one next week?
Oh, let's do it.
All right, cool.